Week 4 of the SEC. Will Jackson Arnold enact revenge on the Oklahoma Sooners? And is Billy Napier's seat scalding hot? Time to get the squad together.
You're talking ball with the SEC squad. From Alabama to Tennessee, from Georgia to Oklahoma, from Auburn to Texas, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming SEC weekend. It's the SEC squad, and we have a seat for you. Hurt feelings and thin skin are prohibited. Squad up, you're part of the SEC squad.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the SEC squad. Sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we get you ready for another week talking all things SEC. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Let's welcome in our squad panel this week. We got Zach Blackerby, Locked On Auburn. We got Jay Smith, Locked On Sooners. Lance Dahl, Locked On Kentucky, making an appearance. John Neighbors from Locked On Razorbacks. John Miller, Locked On Mizzou. Corey Burton, Locked On Vandy. Stephen Willis, Locked On Ole Miss. I'm Chris Gordy, host of Locked On SEC. And gentlemen, as we do every week in the first segment, right out of the gates, heading into SEC Week 4, give me a prediction. Something about your team. Doesn't have to be a score prediction, but something you think is going to happen with your squad this week. Zach, we'll start with you.
Jackson Arnold has his best game ever played in the state of Oklahoma, and it's against his former team.
It's not the craziest of predictions. Jay Smith, we'll just flip it to you. Oklahoma.
Make it even easier. Oklahoma gets 3 turnovers on Jackson Arnold in his first game returning to Norman, Oklahoma.
No shot.
We're going to spend plenty of time talking on that matchup because, let's face it kind of is the sexiest matchup of the week in the SEC. Lance Dahl, Kentucky, gets a little bit of a respite, but give me just a general thought and answer the question, should they roll with Cutter Boley moving forward? Because Zach Calzada,
Yeah, that's my prediction for this week is that I think the staff is actually going to come out and say, yeah, Cutter is the guy for the job for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Cutter Boley. Look, I talked to some Kentucky fans. I'm married to one. She was like, at least we moved the football. Calzada was just painful to watch. If we lose, at least we're moving the football. So give the fans something they want to watch. John Neighbor.
A Kentucky fan?
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
I'm so excited about it.
Wait, I just learned this?
Does she
I
watch
guess because me and
Locked On
Gordy are
Kentucky?
like besties, so I guess that's probably why I already knew that.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks in my circles that are all married to people from different SEC schools. So how about that? John Neighbors, Razorbacks came so close, but no time for crying over spilled milk. You guys got a big one.
Yeah, what does it matter, though? Because you can't win a championship at Arkansas, so it doesn't matter. At least that's what the athletic director said at Arkansas, so that's great. You're trying to bounce back. Arkansas's offense is really good. Taylon Green's best quarterback in the SEC right now, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do against Memphis over there at the Liberty Bowl, which Arkansas loves so much and loves playing at.
Debatable.
Somebody asked me that today. I said, is Taylon Green the best quarterback in the SEC? I said, I think
Debatable.
he is. It's not his defense's fault that, the defense sucks. The offense is awesome. John Miller, Mizzou, got a big one against South Carolina.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And my prediction is I think this is actually the week. I think Missouri's going to beat South Carolina this week. And I think this is the week the nation at large starts to take notice of what seems like a really good Missouri team.
Yeah, certainly a schedule that sets up well for them. I mean, they play like their first 10 games all at home.
Did you see Chris Marlar's schedule update, though, from ESPN FPI? Texas has a worse schedule. Missouri, actually, their schedule is like 16th in the country now. So I think we can kind of push that narrative to the side a little bit.
That'd be first in the Big Ten, probably.
Exactly. Certainly in the Big 12 by a country mile.
Corey Burton, you're covering one of the hottest teams out there. The Vanderbilt.
Yeah, we're red hot. We're on fire. It's a revenge game, believe it or not, against Georgia State. That's kind of embarrassing to say, but nonetheless, I think we're gonna hit the 50 spot.
Oh, 50! Wow,
the half a century.
Dang.
That's a good take. I love that.
This is a new Vandy, isn't it?
Oh, a confident Vandy.
Hey,
I like it.
We've hit almost 40 in every game. So.
The good news is it sounds like we're not going to get a 7th year of Pavia, so at least that's been settled.
I don't really play. He's going to try. I think he's going to try.
Stephen
I want him
Willis,
to stay around forever.
I know.
Give him 10 years.
Stephen Willis, you guys got a tough one with Tulane. Give me a thought on Ole Miss, and do we have a quarterback controversy?
Maybe. I think Tulane is going to join Arkansas and Trinidad this offseason, as Trinidad Chambliss is going to put another 300 spot up on the board.
Man, that will certainly be a storyline if they go with Chambliss again this week. What do you do for the LSU game next week? Do you keep rolling with the hot hand? Do you go back to the guy you brought to SEC Media Days and was the darling of the offseason at Ole Miss?
The first two practices this week, he's been wearing a boot and hasn't been participating, so I expect Chambliss to be the guy that starts on Saturday.
Did y'all hear that? It took 5 minutes and 20 seconds for Gordy to mention LSU. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Hey, I was there over the weekend. They treated me like royalty on that campus.
I'm sure they did.
Really?
They love you.
Yeah, seriously.
Let's get into Brian Kelly didn't yell at me though, so that was that.
That's always good.
Let's
His
get
victory
into
lap
it.
after Sela is going to be fantastic.
Let's get into it, guys. Good predictions on everybody. What you got, Zach?
I don't think his rant was wrong.
It wasn't.
I don't know if he should have done it, but I think what he
The
actually
tone might have been a
said
little wrong.
was totally fine.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if we would have known it would have been frowned upon, he probably wouldn't have. But yeah, was he wrong? No.
His voice naturally gets whiny whenever he does
Yeah.
that. So
That
that's
might be
the
part of
reason
it.
That's more Eastern in him, probably.
Yeah, because I read like people tweeting the quote, and I'm like, "What's wrong with this?" And then the
I
video
think it was
a
that it
little
was the
different, but-
first question out of like, for instance, let's put it this way, Zach. What do people have been saying about Auburn? Oh, well, when's Jackson Arnold going to throw the football? Let's say they go into OU and they run for 300 and they get the win, but Arnold throws for 99 yards. What if the first question at the press conference was, good win, coach, but when are y'all going to air it out here with Jackson Arnold? You know what I mean? Like, that's where it'd be like, okay, we won the game. What do you want from me?
Yeah. I also think that there was another extra narrative there because if you remember, he was saying like another question. He just goes through like all the negative stuff he was going to bring up, like back to back to back. So it seems like there's a little bit of history there.
Sure. Yeah, fair point.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, fellas, because we got some big games this week. I want to save Auburn, Oklahoma for our next segment. But John Miller, while we got you here, South Carolina versus Mizzou. This one just a week ago looked like, man, this is going to be a fun one. And Lenore Sellers goes and gets hurt. Vandy steamrolls him. Sounds like he's kind of in a concussion protocol. And the time we're recording this, it does sound like he's not going to go, but we'll certainly wait and see. But where are you on South Carolina versus Mizzou, John Miller?
Well, I feel pretty good about it simply because South Carolina just hasn't performed very well so far. And really, I got to say I was surprised initially by just how big the line is for this game. It's bounced back and forth between 12.5, 13.5. I think it's now 11.5 because there's been some optimism that Sellers might play this weekend. But I have to say, I just think Missouri at home here, I think that's what the line is really all about. It's kind of telling you that Missouri has performed a lot better than South Carolina regardless of Lenore Sellers. But I will say on Sellers, for anybody who is speculating on him, and here's a tiny bit of speculation here. If I'm going to assume he has a concussion, if he suffered a concussion on Saturday, then he's truly a game time decision. We can't really talk about, on Wednesday, he says, because those type of post-concussion syndromes symptoms can pop up, here, there, and yon. I just think it's way too early to make any judgments there.
Yeah,
what
by the
about
way,
Eli Drinkwitz today taking a shot randomly at Lane about the injury report at his press conference whenever Austin Simmons played and threw a touchdown pass?
I guess I missed that, Steven. What exactly happened there?
Oh, Eli Drinkwitz says, I don't want to get in Lane's business, but is it an injury report or an availability report? And I was like, whoa, that's a hell of a stray.
Yeah, I think the situation was what Chambliss he was bleeding and they had to pull him out of the game. And so Austin Simmons came in for a couple of plays.
You know what,
Yeah.
Steven, if that were anybody else but Eli versus Lane, I feel like those guys just kind of enjoy lobbing shots back at each other in kind of a playful way. If that were maybe Josh Heupel and Eli Drinkwitz, I'd be going, ooh, that seemed like a real shot. But Lane, I'm kind of like, it seems like all in good fun.
Feels like everybody has fun with just throwing shots at Lane in some capacity, just for giggles. That's basically what it is.
No offense
Lane
to
does the same thing to them.
no offense to Luke Doty, by the way, who just poor kid. I mean, he's been there forever at South Carolina. He looked awful coming in against Vandy. Corey, you saw him. Does anybody give South Carolina any chance if it's Luke Doty having to go to Mizzou?
If they can find a way, no, No, there's not. No.
No,
I was like, oh, what's he about to say?
I know he's about to give us a whole little. No.
I was
that's
going to say if they could find a shot to Nick Harbor down the field, which they didn't even try one shot to a guy that's 6'5", 240 and runs a 4.3. Even with Sellers in, like,
Wasn't he hurt at one point during that Vandy game?
he got banged up, but he came back in.
Okay.
He was out for a couple plays. I think it was right before half. He
Okay.
probably I think he got stepped on, and they just
Yeah.
the rest of the drive.
Yeah, Carolina did get stepped on. Confirmed.
Yikes.
Yeah, so I mean,
Got him.
I've asked the question about the wide receiver room at South Carolina this entire time. Who was going to be the one to step up? I mean, Nick Harbor has 7 catches this season.
Like they're just not. They
low.
don't have any flow to their offense whatsoever. It doesn't
Doesn't
seem
feel
like
like
Mike Shula knows what the heck he's doing. Honestly,
Wait, was that a joke?
sort of.
Yeah.
Is there any hot seat talk if the season falls apart for South Carolina?
Ooh, should be.
I think he's fine, but there's that sexiness to the Virginia Tech
They
job,
might
right?
encourage him to go to Virginia.
See, I was going to say, I don't know about hot seat, but maybe a hot jump to Virginia Tech. I don't know how much he actually cares about following his dad or that. I really have no idea there. But if that
Is there
means
gonna-
something to him, well, now's the time to jump. Virginia Tech looks terrible.
Yeah, and if
And it's the
Carolina,
same
Are you
down
going to
to
have a
me.
better quarterback at South Carolina in the foreseeable future than what you have right now? Like, is it-
Unlikely, highly unlikely.
I'm with you. Yeah.
And he
And,
has the thinnest skin ever in college football. My
Yeah, I was
goodness,
just going
it
to
is
say,
so
in that
easy to rattle
Vanderbilt
that
game,
guy.
Shane Beamer, please work on your poker face a little bit. When your team's losing, your body language is horrific.
Mhm. And they feed off that, and
I
Man,
agree.
it's unreal. And I'm still living in a bizarre world. He'll just hear Chris Gordy say Vandy steamrolled an SEC opponent. Like that verb usage is it's just
Feels so good.
It's like a warm sweater.
Yeah, and
Fresh
Big
out the
Bad
dryer.
Willie B. Everybody talks about Willie B. And then Vandy walked in and put 30 on him.
first drive they marched like 10 plays.
Let
That
me
place was like, whoa.
let me throw this out to you guys. Did we put too much stock in how South Carolina and Florida finished last season, thinking it would just carry over to this year?
Absolutely did.
that's the case. Yeah.
At least with
Tried to
South
say that
Carolina. I'm not
myself.
sure about Florida because Florida had a brutal schedule. I don't know that we put much stock into them to
Well,
begin with.
I would say I'm more shocked by South Carolina than I am Florida personally.
Mhm.
I think some of that has to do with schedule, and then some of that, like I think the DJ stuff was a little overhyped statistically. A lot of that had to do with they played. Was it Sanford that they
Sanford,
played
first
where they
with
got most of
500
his
yards.
yardage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Lenoris was legitimately good last year,
Right.
and so that just hasn't sustained.
Coaching matters.
DJ, I
Yeah.
think, was a little kind of inflated.
Matters.
And I think that it's also like obviously you're having some issues on offense, but maybe Corey can speak a little bit more to this because I didn't watch the entire game. Giving up 31 points to Vanderbilt at home. I mean, defensively, like this D line has not been exactly what they have expected it to be, at least consistently. And then you had that one FCS game where you had to have special teams kind of carry the way in a really weird, I think, like rainy situation. So it's been a weird start for Carolina, but it's not just like one issue. It's like across the board they're having problems either with coaching or with talent not stepping up. It's been weird.
And that was kind of the thing that a lot of us that did, sound the alarm when people were talking about South Carolina was you lost 2 guys to the league on a defensive line. Do you have guys to replace it? Who's going to help
They got
Dylan Stewart get the attention off of his back? We
Dylan
don't know
Stewart
who
got
they
ejected.
are.
He got ejected.
Yeah, right. Well, in this one, yes, but more so, my point was for the season because that, as Lance mentioned, that defensive line has not looked that impressive so far this year.
And
And
they-
that's
Kennard
where
was
we
the
had questions.
Kennard was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and we just they'll be fine because they got Stewart.
They'll get another one.
back.
Where?
Brian
think
Thomas.
it's a combination of you lost Kennard, you lost Rocket Sanders, and Mike Shula as the OC hasn't worked with the injury to
I
Lenore.
forget about that. I forget about that. That's the reason why they suck. Yeah, that's right there.
They had no identity offer. They had, I mean, it was brutal to watch.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
after that Zaylen Wood interception where they dropped him off of the nose and they brought the safeties and he picked it off right there when they were about to get points, that deflated him. And that probably was the nail right there.
Can you imagine being a bad enough football coach that Alabama fans nearly quit? I mean, that's Mike Shula's legacy.
After he had him in like the top 10. I mean, it was
Yeah.
it
Well,
was wild.
Here's the other thing with Carolina. They've been like super volatile. And let me tell you something. If they fire Beamer at the end of this season, if they want to call me, I've got a guy that's way more consistent than Beamer, currently wearing blue and white. If they want to take him, I would not be opposed to that at all.
Clemson might be tired of winning, so they might ship Dabo on over. So.
Yeah, ship Dabo to Carolina real quick.
Do they get do they get like the number 1 pick if they tank this year? Is that how that works?
So, yeah.
I think so.
All right, gents. Jackson Arnold, John Mateer. Choose your weapon. We'll preview that matchup coming up next. Back to the squad show in just a second, but first, it is almost the weekend. It is time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. And just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered most. Let's jump into it. And for Mizzou, we're going with running back Ahmad Hardy, delivered in a big way. Hardy rushed for an eye-popping 250 yards and 3 touchdowns in Mizzou's win over ULL. When the pressure was on, Hardy came through. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching him week after week, performance wasn't a fluke. He is just on a streak, 3 straight weeks of 100-yard rushing performances. And just like Ahmad Hardy delivered for Mizzou, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/18. This episode also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel, and the NFL season is here. As you guys know, in FanDuel, they are making sure that you are ready for every kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you will get $300 in bonus bets to use across their app. And you're going to love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet, from player props to same-game parlays. Game already started. You want to jump into the live action? You can do so. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or, look, you're just playing your fantasy football lineups and you want to make some more games more interesting. It is quick, easy, and the best way for you to add a little bit more energy to your Saturday. So if you're ready to play, if you've never signed up before, download the FanDuel app now and visit FanDuel.com. That's where you go to get started, get signed up. That is FanDuel.com. Get signed up, place your first $5 bet, and they will reward you with $300 in bonus bets to use across the FanDuel app. SEC squad rolling along here, and guys, the SEC game of the week. I'm glad we got Zach and Jay here because, fellas, it is 3-0 Auburn at 3-0 Oklahoma. Jackson Arnold versus John Mateer. I love John Neighbors already shaking his head. What is the key to the victory in this one, fellas?
Well, whichever team scores more points is going to win. No,
This guy.
Jay and I already kind of recorded something about this that dropped on our channels this morning, but there's so much national talk about Jackson Arnold versus John Mateer, and like that's fun. But what's going to decide this game, I think, is in the trenches. And I think it's this Oklahoma defensive line that, I mean, I think it's been surprising, but they've been elite by every stretch of the imagination, going up against an Auburn offensive line who's done a great job of creating running lanes for Auburn rushers. To me, I think that is the matchup that will decide this football game.
Yeah, I'm agreeing on that. The bigger thing for Oklahoma is forcing Jackson Arnold to throw the ball. Now, to me, and this is really, truly no shade whatsoever, but Jackson Arnold looks like the same quarterback he looked like the first 3 games last year. He picked his spots, but really good at running the ball, so you really didn't have to throw it. But then you had the Tennessee game, and that's when things kind of went a little bit off the rails, and that's exactly what Heupel and them did. They said, no, we're not going to let you guys run like you want to. We are going to force you to throw the ball. But you have a player like James Pierce, it's kind of easy to do that, right? You got this big old edge coming around there on the injured offensive line. He's going to make things very hard for you. Now, granted, the Oklahoma defense did what they were supposed to do to hopefully win the game, but, unfortunately, our quarterback would give it back literally the next play after we would record a fumble. So, for us, it's going to be a similar scenario as Michigan, as well as Tennessee is. We're just going to have to force those passes, make him have to go deep. Auburn has great receivers, but the question is, will Jackson Arnold underthrow them, or will he be able to actually overthrow them in this game, especially when pressure's in his face?
Yeah, and there hasn't been a defense yet that has chosen to stop the run with guys in the box. There've been guys playing back, which is weird. That's not how I would defend Auburn, I don't think that's how Oklahoma is going to defend them. And so to me, it's like, yeah, Auburn can run the ball. Jackson can run the ball. Damari and Jeremiah Cobb, like those guys can tote the rock. If I'm playing Auburn, I'm like, you got to beat me through the air. That hasn't happened yet. I think it does happen on Saturday. We'll see if Jackson can do it or not.
Yeah, the thing that was interesting about the Baylor game is the talk leading into it was Dave Aranda saying, we got to stop the run. We got to stop the run. We're going to try and stop the run. And then they came out in that too high shell and essentially dared Auburn the entire game.
They never came out of it.
They shouldn't have. Yeah, and they never came out of the
entire game.
And so Auburn just gouged him on the ground. So what does Oklahoma do both, I think, schematically, and then can their personnel kind of carry the way there? Because who knows? Maybe Oklahoma does want to run some too high shell stuff, but can their personnel kind of stop Auburn a little bit better at the point of attack than maybe Baylor can? And does that open up a lot of things for what Brent Venables and that defense wants to do? I think it's going to be a little bit more of a chess match than we currently expect. I'm really excited to see how Auburn chooses to operate, and then what Oklahoma does, where they pick their spots, because Auburn, on paper has one of the best receiver rooms in the country. Can they get them the ball, and if so, how?
Yeah, to me, the blueprint really is going back and watching the Oklahoma-Alabama game. That right there is exactly what they're most likely going to do. You have a quarterback who can throw, got a receiver who, 17 years old. I don't know if y'all knew that, but, Ryan Williams.
Wait, he was 17?
He's 18 now, right?
He was 17 at that time. He was 17 at that time in that game, and he was out there putting up, doing crazy windmill catches and flips mid-air to catch him, in the back of the end zone. But that's basically what Oklahoma did. Is a massive dude in Jalen Milroe. We're not going to let him run all over us, and so we just made it difficult for him to do the things he wanted to do. My expectations, Oklahoma's going to go with that exact same format. Tennessee, the same. As much as we talk about Nico and everything, they were a power run team last year. That was Dylan Sampson's team. They hand him the ball and he goes. And so to me, Jeremiah Cobb is going to be, to me, a bigger problem than Jackson Arnold, because he's shown and he stepped up to be that top back. And as Zach mentioned, they got good blockers. And so they're going to find ways to get holes, similar to what Michigan did with Justin Haynes. They're going to find a way to get themselves a big run and make it go. But I think Oklahoma's going to, again, force the issue of, you're not going to run all over us. You're going to throw the ball just the same way we made Bryce Underwood do the same thing.
Yeah, schematically, they're going to throw a bunch of heat at him, kitchen sink type stuff. That's what Venables likes to do.
Blitzes, exotics.
Yeah, he's going to mix up looks on you. He's going to show too high a lot and drop guys, and it's going to be
cheerleaders right on top of the center, and then you're going to be distracted by that. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Brother Hugh, as somebody that knows what Hugh Freeze does, can get his team up once or twice a year against absolutely anybody. The question is whether it will be this team, because last year I know Hugh Freeze thought he should have beat Oklahoma. That is a game that he thinks he should have won. Will this be a lock the gates behind you type of game for Hugh Freeze and go out there and have a big effort, and maybe they're a little bit down against Georgia, or maybe they're a little bit down against Bama? Is this the game that Hugh Freeze kind of really gets up for in the early part of the season? That is my question. If it's a normal game, Oklahoma's going to win. But if it's one of those Hugh Freeze specials, those Hugh Freeze Alabama type games from back at his Ole Miss times, this could get really weird really quick.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze's got to know if Auburn wins this game, I think it changes the way you talk about this football team. This is kind of, this would be a big. No, John? No, you don't think so?
This is a 4-game stretch that's coming up for them. You're at Oklahoma, you're at A&M, who's showing us they look like a legitimate team. You get that bye, and then Georgia comes into town, and then Missouri follows right behind them. That's a massive 4-game stretch in 5 weeks.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that, again, if you're going to be playing it, like Auburn's going to win no more than 2 SEC games this year, and so is it going to be is it going to be this one, or is it going to? They're going to be Kentucky more than likely.
I don't know how they could win on Saturday, and you still say that. Is my point.
Well, I'm just saying that I don't think you're going to win. I don't think that Auburn is going to win. I think Oklahoma's.
I know, but that wasn't the point. I said if Auburn wins this game, it changes how you talk about this team, and you said no.
No, it changes as in like me saying that they're a good team. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that beating Oklahoma justifies it. It's a nice win, don't get me wrong, but there's still a lot about Auburn I don't trust, and I can be proven wrong. It's okay. Maybe I'm just bitter. It's fine.
I'll put it this way, guys. I saw an Oklahoma fan commented and said, "Okay, so we beat Auburn in their house. We know we're better. The question is, how much better is Auburn from last year to this year? That's the big test." And on paper, look, you added Eric Singleton and all these
Good.
pieces, like in the Jackson Arnold component, is an
And-
upgrade over Peyton Thorne, but how big of an upgrade?
Yeah.
Actually, it's DJ Durkin and John Mateer. If he can confuse John Mateer, DJ Durkin earns every dollar that he is paid by performing at a high level in this game. I think that's the matchup of the game, is trying to confuse Mateer.
Yeah, and can Eric Singleton outdo what Keandre Lambert-Smith did last season, which he was a really good receiver, very massive, underrated pickup out of the portal. And so, Eric Singleton, I know he was dealing with a thigh bruise or something like that.
And then he had like a hit pointer against South.
It feels like he's kind of falling apart at this point. And when you're going up against a team that likes to hit people, I say Durkin would definitely earn his money in the Mateer component of it. But I think the biggest thing here is going to be Hugh Freeze's play call. That's going to be the question. What does that play call look like? Because I still contend 3rd and 4, and Jaquez Hunter has been averaging over 5 yards a carry. You find a way to just keep giving him the ball. It's going to end up being 4th and 1. You hand it off again. You should just keep running when you know that you're really good at that part of it. And that's how that interception happens. You make a decision that you don't like him making decisions. And I kind of feel the same way about Jackson Arnold.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Lance. We're going to wrap up on this one.
The thing about Singleton that I find interesting is that with his injuries, Auburn hasn't really opened him up. Auburn hasn't really opened up the can downfield really for anybody so far. So do they show something different in this game? Do they have that even in them? My assumption is just based on what we've seen from these guys, both from last year that were still in the program and from through the portal, that they've got the ability to really stretch the field. And they've not really shown that at all. So is Auburn kind of hiding something here, or do they just really not have the ability to do that like we thought? I think that's
seven attempts of 20 yards or more downfield, only 7 all year. I think
they're hiding. I think they're hiding because they've got 2 guys that are just that good at
they're different players.
Deep. Take advantage of that. But
real quick, moment of truth. Raise your hand if you're taking Auburn to beat Oklahoma. We got Steven, we got Lance, we got Zach. So 3 of us. The other 5, we're sticking with OU at home. Look, John Mateer in Oklahoma. The one thing Oklahoma has done is even against the 2 cupcakes, they've beaten the crap out of them. That's something a lot of other SEC teams haven't done. Kind of played down. Look at Auburn against South Alabama last week. I was like, what is that score? What is happening in that game? But anyway,
who cares?
Well, we'll see.
Oklahoma
demolished
Temple. Lose against Oklahoma. It's not because the second half of South Alabama.
Yeah,
it might be. We'll see. All right, we got some sneaky good matchups coming up. We will talk about more squad talking ball next. Quick minute here for our friends at Mazda. Look, Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS top safety pick plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breathwork, athletes, they sweat all the details. Mazda, they bring that same intention to how they craft every model. You can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. And with all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Just like our players, we sweat out every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. It is with Mazda. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, fellas, some sneaky good matchups this week. And John Neighbors, I want to start with you because it is 2-1 Arkansas at 3-0 Memphis. A good Memphis team, but Arkansas still sitting about a touchdown favorite in this one on the road. The offense has been so good this season. They can't hang their head after the loss to Ole Miss, right?
Yeah, we can't hang our head. There's no hanging heads and losses, right? It's only been, I don't know, 1 billion one-possession losses that you've had since 2012. What's another one? No, you got Memphis coming, or you're going to Memphis, and here's the deal: is you call it a road game. I call it Razorback Stadium East, because Arkansas loves themselves the Liberty Bowl, and that's where this game is going to be played. And Arkansas has been very successful in the Liberty Bowl. They score a lot of points in the Liberty Bowl, and I don't see that being any different. It is going to be fascinating, though, because Arkansas plays this game at 11 a.m. because they are the king of 11 a.m. games this year. And so how is Arkansas going to come out after that disappointing ending to the Ole Miss game? Are they going to be motivated, fired up? Are they going to be just kind of going through the motions? I don't really know, but what I'm really hoping is that the comments made by the athletic director, Hunter Yurchek, this past week dealing with how he views Arkansas as not a championship team or a championship program, and basically said, hey, we don't have any money, so the players we have, we just settled for. We wanted better ones, but we can't afford the better ones, so we settled for you. I'm hoping there's some sort of motivation in there, and I hope they come out swinging. But it is an interesting game. It's a stupid game because it's an embarrassment that you are going to Memphis for a game. And, just one of another great stupid things that Arkansas loves to do to make it harder on themselves in their schedule. And so, but I think Arkansas takes care of business. I think that as long as you got Talon Green, the best quarterback in the SEC, and Bobby Petrino, the offense is going to score points. They just need a few stops from Memphis, and I think they get it.
Are you okay? You doing all right?
If this is your first time on this squad show, have I ever been okay?
No, I was going to ask the same question, and then I'm like, nah.
John was on Feinbaum, so that could certainly do something to your attitude, talking with Paul. But no, look, I think this is kind of big for the SEC perspective too, guys, because the SEC is largely dominated in the non-conference, not Georgia, Florida, USF notwithstanding. Like I'm kind of rooting for Arkansas. We need them to go beat Memphis.
I got to say, I'm leaning toward.
Question, though, when was this Memphis game put together? Like, when was this home and home thing kind of set? Do you know?
Just a few years ago, because it's one of those stupid 2-for-1 things where it's like, oh, we'll go to your place, but you got to come to ours twice. And again, it's dumb because you're already going to Little Rock. You play that game this year, and now you're playing in Memphis. It's I could spend all day, but you're basically doing a Bermuda Triangle of Little Rock to Oxford to Memphis all in the 3-week span, and it's stupid. Arkansas played their first game in Fayetteville, and they're having to wait another month to play another game in Fayetteville.
Yeah, that's
just zero excuse for it.
I understand. I asked that specifically because Oklahoma traveled up to Philadelphia last week to go play against Temple, and everybody was laughing like, why are you playing Temple in Philadelphia? Well, we kind of scheduled it when Matt Rule was the head coach, and they were winning like 10 games back-to-back years.
Didn't Mizzou go to UMass last year?
Yeah.
We did. Yeah. We're bringing them back this year to Columbia.
Yeah, I can't say much. We
a lot of weird scheduling here.
Year, so.
But here's my thing. At least that's like
Ole Miss is
unique city. Like, it means like, when are you going to go and play in Philadelphia or go to Amherst or wherever you were in UMass? Like, Memphis is literally where Arkansas was
it's always at
a year ago.
The Liberty Bowl.
I've got the most embarrassing one. When Ole Miss had Eli, they went to Jonesboro. At Arkansas State. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even more than Georgia State last year?
Yeah.
So I will say this about this ball game. I think
Atlanta.
the 7.5 point spread, at least on paper, you look at the projections, Arkansas and Memphis are closer than that, in my opinion. Now, maybe I lean more towards what Neighbors is saying. I think Arkansas pulls the game out. That line seems a little high, but I will say if Arkansas just rolls here, I'm going to start buying in more to this Arkansas hype.
Looking at the over under roughly around 63, 64-ish, to me, that line is low. I think Arkansas should be closer to 10, personally. I just think the offense is too explosive. I don't think Memphis has anything for the explosiveness of what Talon Green has done this season. He's going to run. He's going to pass. He's going to be very hard to contain. No matter what they try.
I will
not
say
going to
this.
contain the dude.
I agree with you. Arkansas is really, really explosive. They were last year too, but they were also prone to turnovers, mistakes, penalties at the wrong time. I'm just wondering if maybe that pops up on the road against a little bit more of a quality opponent than what we've seen.
Well,
so
are they
far.
on the road?
If they blow them out, I'm going to be really impressed.
Guys, we got more games to get into. I don't want to spend 10 minutes on Arkansas and Memphis.
Go ahead, Steve. Okay,
Georgia State threw for 340 yards against Memphis. They threw for 60 yards against Ole Miss.
Okay.
Well, this is a secondary where Talon Green, we just saw what Talon Green can do against the Ole Miss secondary. This Arkansas offense is going to roll. If they just wanted to shoot a shootout, they're going to score as much as they want to score.
Yeah, they can name the number. If they play clean, don't give the ball away, and play clean with penalties, they're going to blow them out, I think.
My favorite internet rumor earlier this week is Ryan Silverfield, the Memphis coach, is positioning himself to replace Billy Napier, and that's where I want to go next. 1-2 Florida.
I'm sure Brandon Olson is super excited about that.
At 3-0 Miami, and I just want to bring this around to Carson Beck is playing well over there at Miami, former Georgia quarterback. But guys, how hot is Billy Napier's seat? I mean, does he get fired after this one, or would it take 1 or 2 more losses?
Okay, someone try and convince me that this is not going to be a bloodbath. Someone try and convince me that this is not going to be a blowout.
No. Zero reason to convince. Now, the thing is I can probably convince you because I think Florida's defense is legit. If you throw 5 interceptions and only give up 1 touchdown on offense, you're a legitimate defense. That to me, I can't argue against that. And LSU has a good enough offense to be able to score. They couldn't. They needed to pick 6 in order to get to 20 points. That's bananas to me. I could not believe that. When I was like, wait, how do you throw 5 picks and you only lose by 10? So I think that's the saving grace for Billy Napier in this job, is that his defense is really, really good, even though he's not a defensive guy. I think A&M is where the seat starts to really turn up to about 250, 275, where he's starting to roast. But that Mississippi State game, if they lose that, he's gone.
Yeah.
I feel like Miami's offense is significantly better than LSU's, at least in its current state. So my assumption is that even if Florida has a really good defense, they're still going to get. I think that Miami can at least run the ball more effectively than LSU can. And
what about the other side? What if LSU's defense is that good that Florida's offense goes off against Miami's defense?
Yeah,
I also think Miami's just better on defense too. Like I think that the Canes are really good. I don't know.
Yeah, they destroyed South Florida, so I think they are that good.
Yeah.
Any chance you guys think Napier survives the season?
No.
I hope so.
We all would like him to, but I don't think he does.
I mean,
think
if DJ Lagway stops throwing 5 interceptions a game, he's got a shot. I don't know. I feel like we've maybe gone a little bit too far on the DJ Lagway hate after 1 week here. I get it. He's got a long way to go. And he was terrible in that game. I completely understand. I'm just saying, is he going to be that terrible the rest of the season or in this ball game? I think maybe it's gone a little too far.
Isn't that how he's
Florida,
been
Florida's
last
going to
season
beat
too?
Texas, by the way. Florida's going to beat Texas.
Dude, that will
I
be.
actually think they will.
That
It's
would
going to
be
be like the
outstanding.
battle of bad quarterback.
Well,
play.
if that
It's gonna be
happens, I don't
hilarious.
think Napier's going anywhere.
Yeah,
I hope you're right, John. I hope you're right.
I think we all hope I'm right on that one.
So we
Just
all
a
rooting for Florida now against Texas? Is that what I'm getting?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
A few more to throw.
I know
out
you
there.
are, Jay.
It's already
Oh,
already
no,
going.
yeah.
You
0-3
don't
Sam Houston is at 2-1 Texas, and then Texas gets a bye, and then it's on the road to Florida. How concerned should we be about Arch Manning? Was the hype all for
You
naught?
get booed by your home crowd who's been hyping you up for Heisman. Like, it's quite the tumble there.
Look, we've been trying to tell people this for a while, and not even just throwing shade, just as being a rival, but the fact that he couldn't beat out Quinn Ewers for the job, and Quinn Ewers gets drafted 7th round, and everyone keeps telling me that Arch Manning would have been number 1 this past draft and the next draft. That tells me everything I need to know about it. He wasn't ready, and he's showing us that he truly is not. That Georgia game to me was literally when my light bulb popped. I was like, oh, this dude is shooketh. He's not going to be able to handle this. They for real had that dude in a blender. And it's like, yeah, so we expect this to be any different this coming season. And we kind of, I mean, the Ohio State game was, but you could see the throws. The throws just look so scared. It's kind of crazy to be
Pulling
honest.
back.
The way
and
Sark is using him is a
sailing
little.
or skipping.
They have the tools around them where I feel like they could make things easier for him than they currently are.
He
which
looked
is
more
surprising because-
comfortable throwing in those games last year in the spot starts than he does now as the full-time starter.
Well, because he's a
all mental.
full-time quarterback. It's the mental thing, right?
Mental,
Like, for
yeah.
example, and like I said, I mean, no shade here at all, but I mean, Jackson Arnold looked amazing in spot his freshman year. He did. He looked great against BYU. He looked fantastic against Arkansas State. He was dominant in that Arizona bowl game, and then, you know, for some reason, things turned off.
And Texas,
I want him
opened
to
as a
beat y'all
41
so bad this week.
He's going to have some actual
It's not
receivers.
happening,
For-
Zach. I love you, man.
Yeah. Texas is a 41-point favorite in their game this weekend. They're not 41 points better than Air at this point.
They really
Steve,
aren't.
Steven,
that's
let's end it with you. 3-0 Tulane heading to 3-0 Ole Miss. I think the national people aren't talking enough about this one.
It's one of those situations to where Ole Miss turned the ball over in the first quarter in the first 2 games, and that kind of put them behind the 8 ball. But they've been pretty good other than that. Against Arkansas, they played an unbelievably clean game. It's the best game that Lane Kiffin has coached because one mistake and Arkansas wins that game, and there wasn't a mistake. There wasn't a go for it on your own 35. There wasn't a go for it on the other team's 35. It was take the points. Every possession ends with a kick and win the game. If that continues, it's just Tulane's got good players. I don't think they have good enough players to necessarily threaten what's going on. I think Ole Miss should win this game by a couple of touchdowns if they play clean. The difference is John Summerall has a very well-coached team to where if you play down, you throw interceptions, you do stuff like that, they will beat you. They are that good. It would not surprise me after this if Tulane ends up 11-1 and goes in the G5 bid for the playoff. But I do not think they're going to walk in Vaught-Hemingway Stadium and win the game.
Is John Summerall in the SEC next year?
Yes.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Lance?
I'd like for him to be at Kentucky. I would have liked for him to be at Kentucky a season ago. Although at this point, man, with what Alex Golish is doing at South Florida, I mean, I understand Summerall's ties, but if you can get Golish, I don't see why you wouldn't get him.
You go for Golish.
Maybe
But
John
I think
Neighbors.
Summerall's team's
He's at
strong enough.
Arkansas.
I feel like this game is going to
They're getting
be
Rhett Lashley.
like Alabama versus South Florida a couple years ago. I think it's going to be a challenge for Ole Miss in this one just because they've got to play a very clean ball game, and we haven't seen that yet. But I don't think that Tulane pulls an upset, but I do think they keep it closer than people are comfortable with.
I just
They
can't
were
wait to
close.
see Trinidad go for Heisman numbers again. Or you know what? No, he's probably going to suck. And then it's going to piss me off all over again. And it's going to be like, oh, okay. So his Heisman game was Arkansas. You know, he wanted to do that. But
We got to get Arkansas. Where's the
Steven-
neighbors, man?
Steven,
We got to
wasn't
get
it
some
close
wins.
last year, like going in the fourth quarter or something?
It was 2 years ago, when Ole Miss went to the Peach Bowl and played Penn State. It was a field goal at the end where Ole Miss went up by 6 points, and then they had a scoop score. They ended up winning by 13. But it was a close game, and Tulane played that game with a backup quarterback. A lot of people forget that. But Tulane basically figured out how to stop Ole Miss's offense at that point with Jackson Dart by doing the engage 8 thing on offense, just sink back deep, and if they throw the ball deep, get turnovers and rush the quarterback and stop the run. Arkansas tried to do that, and he hit the checkdowns. It's backs out of the backfield, and that's something that's a little bit new, and believe it or not, is something as stupid as that has Ole Miss fans feeling pretty excited right now.
All right,
Kyle
gents.
Horton was
Simple
cooking.
things, Steve. Simple things.
We will leave it there. Real quick show of hands. Does everybody think Ole Miss beats Tulane? I might ride with Tulane. I'm thinking about it. Everybody think Vandy takes care of Georgia Southern?
State.
Finally, revenge game. I
Everybody
love
thinks
it.
Miami beats
Georgia
Florida,
State.
hands them their third loss.
Yeah. Miami.
Yeah.
State Miami. Yeah.
Oh, John Neighbors, you think Florida pulls it off?
I just feel like Billy Napier is going to have some random win. And I think that might be it.
It ain't that one. It's Texas. That's the
I think it's gonna be
Well,
tough.
that'll be a
Miami.
random win. Florida
This
probably
is just for
favored now.
Gordy's comments.
This will be Cristobal's random win.
There you go. John Miller, good to have you back as we wrap things up here on Locked On SEC Squad Edition. Thank you guys for checking us out. And hey, it's another big moment of Locked On. Of course, Locked On and Fire TV, they're presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview with former AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, along with all of our Locked On local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. For Zach, Jay, Lance, John, Corey, and Steven, I'm Chris. We'll talk to you guys next week on the SEC Squad.
Corey's cousin cooked
Boomer
Clemson.
sooner.
Yep.
We're coming for Jackson Arnold.
Jackson Arnold time, baby. Let's go.